As a speaker for today, and we are discussing on cell transformation. And the Eugene has started his career in 1990s with Colgate, Colgate, and then he has over multiple hats with multiple companies with Microsoft, ABS, CBN Corporation, and now he's working with Ray Business Technologies as a CEO. And I'd like to hand over the session for Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Neeraj. So my name is Eugene. I'm currently the Chief Technology Officer for Ray Business Technologies. And I've been with the company about 3 years. And before that, I've done so many other jobs that I didn't have a title. Okay. Anyway, so why are we here? We're here for digital transformation, and we've heard so much about it, but we want to understand what is digital transformation and what it is not, because it gets confused with so many other things. We think that what we're doing is digital transformation, but actually it's something else. Okay? And then identify which are the key areas where we can do digital transformation, because otherwise, this is where we see, okay, where do I start? What do I do? Where do I go? And then, not everything is perfect, right? And I think that's one thing that we have to realize that projects fail. Who has been in a company who has done something that they have never done wrong, or they have never failed? It always fails, right?
Yes, correct.
We just have to learn from those mistakes. And that's actually how we learn. When I was young, and the same thing. The mistakes I made, and that's why the learning. The important thing is what they learn from it. The other thing is that for the guys who are successful, why are they successful? Why did they make it work? So we'll take on that one, and there's a lot of study that's being done there. But before that, much of the time I don't want to talk about myself, except when I'm talking to my wife. And I'm talking to my wife, she just talks about herself. So it's normally easy. But why are you guys here, right? Why do you have to listen to me when you don't know the guy just flies in from the US and we listen to him? No, we don't. So I'd like to establish first what do I do, why I'm even qualified to talk to you now, right? So I'm currently the CTO for Ray Business Technologies, and part of my job is not only on the technology side, but also preparing our guys when we talk to clients and customers in terms of the technical capabilities, but also the soft skills that they need. And then figuring out which technologies we want to focus on. We don't want to do everything, because if you do everything, you don't know anything much, right? So we want to focus on some areas, and that's why we identify which technologies we want to focus on, and then work on those technologies and have the competency in those. With Z Living, and this is part of ZTV, but this is based in the US. We launched, this is 2015 or 16, we launched a lifestyle network in the US. So it's a TV channel, and we needed an online component for it. So I was doing the online component for it. I just stayed a few months, and then after that one, we moved to Ray Business Technologies. But the bulk of my work was actually with ABS-CBN. ABS-CBN is the largest broadcast company in the Philippines. So we have viewership is more than 60%. So at any given point in time, if there are 10 people watching TV, 6 of them are watching ABS-CBN. Okay? It also covers, it has a telco, it has a radio station, no, not radio station, but a network of radio stations nationwide. And it has a cable, not a cable channel, but a cable company. We used to have a magazine, we publish magazines also, but we didn't have a newspaper. We used to have a newspaper, but then the government says you can only have maximum of 2. Right? If you have all 3, you control everything else. So you have TV, radio, and print. So basically you control the whole media. So they said, sell it. So we did not have that for a long time. Now, in my role there, I was taken, sorry, last time I had a business card, so I shared my business card with you guys, but last time I had a business card, I did not have a role. It just said my name, my contact number, and that was it, because I don't know what I was doing anymore. Because you take on so many other, you've been in the same company, and you've taken so many other tasks that at one point I'm doing 2 jobs at the same time. So I was based in Manila, but because of the things that I was doing, they moved me to the US office. So if you're familiar with expats, right? If you have multinational corporations, the foreigners come to India and they're expats, so expatriates. I was the reverse one. They sent me off to the US. And in that role, so if the top one, TLC.TV, if you're familiar with Netflix, I hope you are. We had streaming subscription service way before Netflix had. But this was designed only for Filipino content, okay? And for interactive, so as a media company, when you want to do digital stuff, either you do it embedded into each organization or you create a separate company that does all of your digital and service the whole organization. So I was the last managing director for ABS Event Interactive. Eventually, they pulled it back to the organization. I was doing two jobs: the general manager for TFC.TV and the managing director for ABS Event Interactive. And the funny thing was that I was in the US, all my staff were in the Philippines. It just tells you it can be done, right? Those are transformations that you cannot do before. If you have the boss, you have to be there. I have to see what my guys are doing. There I didn't have to worry. It's like, okay, what's our plan? And then we make things happen. At the same time, I was in the international side of it, so anything outside of it, because we call international, so you go around and talk to different guys. But half of my life in ABS event, I would say headquarters. I started off with implementing email, putting in networking, putting in first internet access, and this one I'm dating myself. When we first had internet access, this was in '95, and we had E1. So we were paying $20,000 a month just for 1 Mbps. We're not even going to 1 Mbps. I think we started with 256 kbps. So that's the amount of things that we would have to spend before. Now we take it for granted. You have your phone, how much speed do you have on your phone, and how much do you pay on a monthly basis. So, that's the transformations that we're looking for. Things that you can do now that we take it for granted, but before it was really, people have to spend so much. Okay? Which takes me to my work in Microsoft. I was supporting large organizations like the largest banks in the Philippines and the largest telco companies in the Philippines, and my work there was helping maintain online banking. And this is way back in 2000. Online banking in 2000, right? So again, this is something that is totally different, and they were so eager to just do it and make it happen. And before that, I was in Colgate-Palmolive. I was not in the IT. I did not like to do much in the IT work. I was more on the manufacturing, so I was using technology, how we can help the manufacturing department improve the operations. I was working on ERP, but at the same time, I was also implementing EIS, Executive Information System. That's what they call data analytics now. Before, the bosses would just like to see, it's a red, there's something wrong with it. If it's green, I don't have to worry about it. If I see yellow, I have to call someone. So, and the story here, even with Colgate-Palmolive, is that it was to have a network. So now you have offices, you're connected. Every machine is connected to the network, connected to the internet, right? At that time, for every machine that has to be connected to the network, it costs $2,000 just to be on the network. Not including the PC. Actually, the PC was cheaper than being networked. So look at all those transformations that you take it for granted. You hire someone now and you don't connect them to the network, you go, I'm gone. I don't want to work for your company. So I've seen transformation in terms of how we work, but also in terms of how I live. So aside from that one, I also do golf. So anyone here plays golf? I'm not good at it. I do surfing also. Are we close to the water? Sorry, this is my first time doing Coimbatore. Not much, right? Okay. But I can also do skateboarding. So if you have hills and then I ride a skateboard, it's dangerous. For my age, if I get hurt, maybe I will not get healed. I was younger, but I took this up pretty late. So even if I'm doing all this stuff, and carpentry and mechanic, so in the US, if you have someone else do things for you, it costs like maybe $75, $100. A mechanic costs about $150 per hour. Per hour. So if you have your car fixed, what happens? You buy the part, labor is free, right? There, I buy a part. Actually, the part is the cheapest portion of it. So if I have, as an example, if I have like suspension replaced, just a small one, and maybe parts may be $200, labor would be $600. Here would be so happy to just do it for you, say, oh, buy the part from me. So those are the dynamics that we have to look at in terms of transformations. What are the things that are easier now? The wow now that the wow before that used to be normal now. Okay? All right. Didn't take me too long. So I'll make you do the work. So I'm going to rest and let you do the work. What is digital transformation? Who has heard about digital transformation? Raise your hand if you have heard about digital transformation. Except from the invite. Who has not heard? See, you have only one choice. You have, go to the first one or go to the last one. Who has not heard about digital transformation? None. What about the others? So like, I don't want to participate. It's okay, it's your job, right? So I'll let you do some work. I give you about 5 minutes. Think about what is digital transformation. What does it mean for you? What does it mean for your organization? Okay? Give 5 minutes and then write it down on this, and then we'll stick it to the wall and see. Okay? As a group, one table, one output, work together, collaborate, and listen. Maybe we can, do we have tape? Okay, this is what it is. We'll go around on each table. So we want to go ahead and talk us through what's the cost. I got it.
Digital transformation, new, fast, frequently changing digital technology to solve problems. So DT utilizes cloud computing, reducing dependence on user-owned hardware.
Okay. Good job, right? Well, you can do next. Okay. Yeah, I'm the official holder of paper.
You want to start?
Somebody can help.
So, from this group, we had a few ideas floating by, but the summary is digital technology is something which enables information flow easily, through whatever be the technologies that are available, eventually leading to better business decisions, things like forecasting, correlation analysis, qualities, efficiency improvement, productivity improvement.
Good. Good. Let's go next. Want to go next? Right? Hey, it's a group effort. Somebody holds it, somebody talks.
Hi. So our view is like digital transformation is something like it helps the business to grow fast and then move fast, and like it should be accurate. So even like in a remote, we can access the data. We can sit anywhere and then access the data, and then the mobility. So also with the integration of AI, machine learning. So this helps the data. So analyze the data, and then based on the data, we can make the business in different time.
Okay. Pass it on to the next.
Oh, yeah, there.
Yeah, traditional system normally used to have, you used to give input, the system can mind program, then you can get output. This is called a traditional system, earlier days we are using. Now digital transformation or industry 4.0 or AI technologies, big data, IoT, whatever new technology terms, you are giving input and output. That means data is playing the role for the technology. Based on the data, you can control the business, you can enlarge the business, enable the business, whatever you can. So now you are giving input and output to the system. System self-learning system is now available. So that's called artificial intelligence. When you're talking about data, input, output, there is the big data is there. So big data, any kind of data. So data is there. And IoT also enabling the data. Then ML algorithms automatically give the prediction system. This way you can analytic prediction, visualization, or whatever your technical words you can put it. This is what I understand digital technologies.
Okay, cool.
A small perspective on digital transformation is any indirect form of capturing a data means using some cognitive techniques and then bringing a non-IT job into a real digital way. That is one. And second, you can automatically routinize the manual involvement indirectly by capturing data through sensors or something what you call in IoT. And third is the non-IT tasks can be IT enabled through a process automation actually. Today you have a cluster of process automation tools that can automate and transform something which is already lying in tacit form into a digital form. And literally it is part of day-to-day life now, more in terms of you could see the devices like Google Home, Alexa and all the other things I mentioned, which just listens to you and starts executing things.
I hope the wife is like that.
Yeah.
But it's the reverse, it's the wife
Yeah.
that says and then the husband follows.
The wife is Google wife.
Yeah, Google wife. What about you, gentlemen? Come on, sit with them, it's okay.
So,
I think we have space of it.
hey, I have a digital transformation solution for you. That's your interpretation, the other guy's interpretation is different. Or they don't even have an idea as to what it is. So that's why it's very important to understand what is digital transformation, at least from your perspective, and for your client's perspective, and for everyone else, because otherwise, again, you don't know what you're selling, or what you're creating, or what you're doing, okay? If you want to do digital, so we're looking at two things, because we're in technology, that's why it crosses the line whether am I doing the digital transformation for my organization, or am I doing digital transformation for my customers and clients? And we go both ways. If I was producing soap, we won't be talking about digital transformation for my clients, right? I'll be talking about digital transformation for myself or for my organization. But we cross the line, so sometimes we go both sides. So you have to look at it on both sides. So I did a lot of Google, and I asked Alexa. I did not have time to ask Siri. So I asked, what is digital transformation? And this is coming from MIT Sloan. MIT is a big or famous school in the US for engineering, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and they have the Sloan School of Business. And this is their definition. I'm just calling out some key things here. One is definitely technology, but the other one, it has to be radical. You know what happens to radical sometimes, right? Totally different. Disruptive. Okay? So anything that you do that is not radical, for them it's not transformation. And that's one of the things that we have to understand. This is coming from Enterprises Project. Enterprises Project is like a website that has a lot of articles on digital transformation, but about technology and management also. So in here they're saying integration of digital technology, and now you're delivering value to customers. And also involves cultural changes. I'm just pulling it out, you guys can read, so I don't want to read the whole thing. And then SaaS, who has heard of SaaS? So SaaS, they sell technology, right? So this is their definition. So that if there's my definition, if I'm the first guy who talked about digital transformation, I'm the guy, right? So this is how you change business, how business operate, and how you serve customers. So look at the highlights from there. It's about technology, radical. So there's so much, I don't know, so many meanings for it, right? Salesforce. Now Salesforce, again, SaaS, software as a service. They provide the sales organizations. It's creating new or modifying existing business processes, culture, and customer experiences. So now you're adding customer experience. It used to be just the customer, but now it's a the customer. It's about the customer experience. So again, it changes. Don't worry, guys. You can no need to take notes. We'll send it out to you. But if you want to take notes, it's okay. And this one is one of the heads of CTO for Dell EMC. So they sell hardware. Of course, they're talking about efficiency, managing risk, because they also have security appliances. Now you add them to the mix. And just indulge me for one more slide. Now this is from Forrester. Forrester is a research organization. They just have so many smart guys talk to different companies and says, okay, this is what we have found out. Okay, 2,000 companies that they survey. It's like a game, right? I have survey, and then this is the result of the survey. And for them, digital transformation is about being digital first, rapid. So radical, rapid, lean, and then complex. So you have to be digital first, okay? And you have to do the change rapidly. And you have to have lean operations, so less people, but you have to ask them complex tasks. I'd like that to happen, but it's too much to ask for people, right? And this is the first time. InfoWorld is a magazine or an online publication, so they're just talking about society. The only thing I want to highlight here, it's similar to the others, but they're talking about society as the impact here. Now, in terms of search CIO, and this is where we only see all of the others who are more inward. This one was saying there's outward in terms of talking about customers and society. But this is talking about your competitor now. How do you compete? Okay, you needed to compete. Now, this is Brian Solis is an evangelist for digital transformation. And this is definition from 2014 to 2019. So it's relatively new. 2014 is the term digital transformation. It used to be something else before. I don't know what it was. So it was different, like information age. We heard that, or the age of the internet. And then we heard about IoT, and we heard about data science and AI. So it's going to come in and then go. And this is the first time we see that employees is part of it. Okay? Now, in 2019, same guy, because the more we know about digital transformation, the more we know about something, the more we can really define it. So his definition is more about innovation, being an agile business, and it's continually evolving technologies. Technologies don't stay the same, they evolve. So it's like getting married, like the first time, like that's what it is. You don't know what you're getting, but it's nice. It's like a new iPhone. And then when you figure out, it's like, okay, it's a different definition. It's not a wife, it's like a boss. But again, it's the same thing. The more you know about someone, the more you know about something, the more you can define it better. So we have the benefit of a lot of the learnings that people have done on digital transformation. I think we can be ready to create our own definition of digital transformation. Sorry if I ask you to do it first. Because that again, you start with what you know, then let's learn through what has other people said, what they said, and then let's go through what they think it should be. Okay? Yeah. So, I'm not smart enough, but I'm just trying to do my own interpretation also. I think differently. I start with the objective, and if you have read Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it begin with the end in mind, right? So you do a digital transformation because you want to create business value. If you want to do something, create business value. If it does not have business value, is it worth doing? No. But sometimes we start with doing without knowing what it is that we want to happen. We know what to do, but we don't know what the outcome is. Or we don't even define what the outcome is. Right? So that's the first thing. Create first with a business value. Start with what business value am I delivering? What do I need to create? Second one is, I'll start with customer. Think of the customer, but actually not just the customer. Think of the experience that you are going to provide the customer. People buy because of the experience of what you're selling, right? If they sell you toothpaste, they promise what? Fresh breath and whitens your teeth, right? And always says, better every year. Or every quarter they send an advertising like, okay, it's better, 20 times better, right? Or 50% better. So if you've done that since you were a kid, by this time your teeth would have been whiter than white. Right? But they're actually selling customer experiences, but they don't advertise to you your teeth being white. It advertises to you what will having white teeth give you. What experience? You can have more friends, you can go out more, you can do so much more stuff, you can hang out with cool people, you can hang out with rich people, beautiful people. So all products will promise something, an experience that is way more than what you're actually getting. So what your job is to create those transforming customer experiences, because if you're just providing the same experience as someone else, why would I buy from you? Right? If you have a chai stall somewhere and you're selling chai, the other guy is selling chai, why would I choose one over the other? What's the experience? They might taste the same. So then you go into a cost-cutting mode. Which one is cheaper? I go buy from the cheaper one. But if the chai guy has like maybe nicer cups, free massage, or you have somewhere to sit down, cool music, then it's an experience that you wrap around whatever you're providing. Okay, so again, it's an experience. You do more than what is expected. You transform that. Your typical way of doing things, like restaurants, before you eat at home, right? And then you experience the restaurant, okay, it's nice, I don't have to cook, I don't have to wash the dishes, but we have somebody to do it for us, but sometimes you don't have to wash the dishes, so it's just more comfortable. Okay, and then I have so many options, I don't have to worry about, okay, she wants something else, I want something else, I can eat what I want. And that was the first steps. But now they make it even more, why would you pay more for the same dosa that you get on the street, that you buy from the hotel, and sometimes the dosa on the street actually tastes better than the one in the hotel. Right?
Yes.
Why? Because it's a different experience. Okay? However, you cannot just do a single customer experience transformation. Because once you transform that, somebody will copy it. What happens? Then it goes back to being a normal experience, and then you go into cost mode. Right? So you have to always transform the experience, otherwise you get lost out. Your competitors will not be staying behind. If they're smart, then they will do the same thing. They will copy you. There's no monopoly on ideas, right? They will just copy you, and if you don't have a patent or something to protect your model, then they will just come in and do the same thing. Alright. However, it's only mentioned in the definition that I have for digital transformation, it's only mention of technology. However, for you to be able to do those transformational experiences, you need to leverage technology. What technology? I don't care. As long as you think about what business value are you generating, you design the customer experience that you want them to do, and then figure out the technology. Most of the time, we start with technology, and then figure out the use case. That's what the research companies do. Right? That does the innovate, that does the innovation. We're not in the innovation business, we're in the providing of products and services. Now, innovation will be some research lab that does something like, okay, new battery technology. We're not creating technology, we're just leveraging technology. Okay? That's the difference. If you look at Uber, did Uber invent technology that they use? No, they use existing mobile phones. They use existing relationships, and they just make it. You call that in Silicon Valley mashup. Okay, you just mash up whatever is available and then create something new. Create an experience for people to share. Okay? We're not inventors in that case, for now. We might be inventing how it goes together, but we're not creating hard technology. But for us to be able to do that, It can be just one person, two people. We have to be agile as an organization. Whether you're small, you're big. All large organizations started small, right? No company started really big. Okay? Starts with like 2 or 3 people and it becomes 5, becomes 10. How fast you grow is what changes. But why do you change? What makes them go and succeed? Because they're agile. They think differently. If you start with one product, if you think that it doesn't work, then you sell another product. Or same product and then you augment it and you change. You continually tweak the product. The problem is that once you become a little bit successful, you don't want to touch the product anymore. Like, I'm making money, I don't want to touch it, because if I touch it, I will lose money. Yeah? And we've seen the case studies here wherein people have stagnated. They were making money, don't get me wrong. They were making money, but once it stopped, when somebody came in with a new transformational experience, they just lost their business. Think about all the companies that you've known before that don't exist now, or if they exist now, it's so much more than what they were before. For you to be able to do a transformation, you have to have this mindset. Be an agile organization. Okay? So that's it. That's a simple definition. Any questions? It's okay to ask questions, by the way. Or any thoughts, anything you can share in terms of what do you think? Is it okay? Does it capture what you think it should? It's okay. Thank you. I can have my reward now. It's my first time to be flying every day. I fly in the morning and I fly at night. So I started Monday night. I flew in from the US on Friday. So I went to Hyderabad to our office and then I flew in Friday night. Flew in to Bangalore on Monday night. Did the session. I think that's the only time I had overnight. And then after that one, flew in back to Hyderabad at night. Then go on the next. So morning, night. So I'm getting like 5-6 hours of sleep. It's supposed to be when you grow older, you need less sleep, right? I'm the reverse, so I'm maybe going backwards. Anyway, all right. Where's my say and forget? Okay, so with that definition, it allows us to look at our session is about winning big, right? How big is big? So let's look at it like a clock. Let's start at the 1 o'clock. So what's the conversion rate for US dollar? Every number here is US dollars. I hope you're used to thinking of US dollars. I can't think of something else. We're all Americans, all slaves of the dollar, so we just think of the dollar all the time. So what? 71, 72, or 70?
71.
Okay, we'll make the estimations and calculations before we make it 70. Okay? Alright. Who can tell me what's the equivalent in Indian rupees of 1.97 trillion? What's $1.97 trillion in rupees? That's how big the digital transformation market alone. It's not technology, just digital transformation market alone in 2022. Big, right? Okay, good, nice start. Now, out of that, 229 billion has been spent on cloud services and infrastructure for 2019. It's going to grow to 500 billion, more than 500 billion in 2023. That's how fast it can grow. 100% in 4 years. 4 years? I think, yeah, 4. Okay. In terms of who are doing the digital transformation, a lot of organizations are doing it. Like if you're not, it's like a buzzword, right? If you do it, if your competitor is doing it, I want to do it. If my neighbor is doing it, I want to do it also, right? If they're doing fireworks in Diwali, I want to have fireworks also. Okay? So, 30% of global Fortune 500 and 2,000 companies are allocating 10% of their revenue for digital transformation. Think of it now. Whatever your revenue on a yearly basis, and if you spend 10% of that on digital transformation, that's a big portion of your revenue investment, right? It's big. So that's how people would like to do this. That's how compelling digital transformation is. It's a story. in terms of how much you would want to spend. However, a CIO has a yearly budget, but they spend 72% of their yearly budget on day-to-day things. Maintaining the network, maintaining my servers, maintaining email, but they only spend 28% for new projects and innovation. So there's a big gap there. And day-to-day operations is not digital transformation, it's day-to-day. So there's still 1.97 trillion that you see there. You can actually stretch it if you can spread. Instead of doing 72% on day-to-day, make it 50-50. 50% day-to-day, 50% on digital transformation. Because IT is considered as a cost center. Okay? If it's a cost center, you're just spending money. You're not helping me grow. If I'm the business owner, what? Buying a new server? No. Right? You want a new licenses? Like, no. Why would I buy them? Right? So you want to make sure that there's a return on your investments. Okay. What's in it for them for digitally transformed companies? Companies that are digitally transformed, yeah, so many words, right? Are actually 26% more profitable than their competitors or industry average. So if I'm in manufacturing, I actually make more money than the same guys in the industry. But that's the average, 26% more than average. So really so much more than the other guys. So there's the incentive to do that. However, only 25%, and these are all surveys. In this case, there's all references as to where I got these numbers, so I just did not make them up. Okay, I could have bought something and then just put numbers in there. But 25% of organizations are digital mature now. Some are not yet. So there's a big opportunity because even if you're seeing that 1.97 trillion, if we increase the 25%, increase the maturity, then that's going to grow so much more, right? There's really a need for digital transformation. How you do that is the question, why? Okay, now this one ties up to the cloud again. 71% of companies are looking to leverage the cloud as part of their digital transformation. No one wants to maintain data centers anymore. No one wants to maintain servers. No one wants to worry about somebody looking at my network 24/7. What they do is just put it there. I'll just have business guys because, again, IT is a cost. So if it's just a cost, I just forward it with the least cost, least headache for me. Okay? Now, who's doing RPA, robotic process automation? Again, okay, you guys are doing so. You're in the good spot already. That because 50% of companies are piloting RPAs, so they realize that okay, it used to be, and we call the RPA users citizen developers. Okay, these are not developers, but they are actually automating for themselves. So if you have done Outlook and you have business rules in Outlook, right? It's basically similar, but you're automating the whole whatever business process that you're doing. So this is a good space to be in. And this is the one that's really surprising. So we have all the rosy parts on the right side, and then we see that 50% of CEOs don't have digital business success metrics. Because they start with, I heard somebody, oh, digital transformation, we have to do digital transformation. Hey, CIO, why are we not doing digital transformation? Why are your project not, I don't see digital transformation in your budget. Right? And then the CTO is like, oh, yeah. Then every project becomes digital transformation and they don't even, that's why they're not defining it. And they don't even have metrics. How can you, as a CEO, implement a digital strategy or digital transformation strategy when you don't even measure it? If you cannot measure it, you will know whether you're successful or not. Right? Now, going up and even more is that only 14% of companies have sustained performance improvements. Only 14%. So I did a digital transformation. If we talk about continual transforming customer experiences, right? They did one, and then it stopped. No more returns. One-time return. It should be okay, right? But it should be continuing because there are some other factors that come into play, and that's why we will see YPP projects there. And only 3% in total are reporting complete success.
That's a lot of wasted money. That's why we go to the next one, wherein 70% of all DP initiatives do not reach their goals. For 2018, it's $1.3 trillion. Again, how much is it in rupees? Now, this is the one that you have to compute. 900 billion. This one's easier because it didn't go to trillion, a little bit lower, right? 900 billion was wasted. Or did not reach their goals. Just imagine that. Why would you do digital transformation then if a lot of these companies fail? This is a lot of opportunity for us. Okay? If we really nail down what we need to do when we are working with our clients to help them in their digital transformation journey, then we can help them realize their goals. And even us, we have to do digital transformation for us to be able to help our clients. If we don't, then we're just doing the same things that we're doing now. And there's a lot of us in India alone. Look at your business, look at your competitor, you're basically selling the same thing. Right? Yeah. So how do you differentiate? How do you get your own clients? Create a different experience for them. Who are your clients? Figure out first who are your clients and what experience do you want them to have. Because you will be offering the same thing. You're basically selling the same chai. So how do you differentiate yourselves? Or you can have a better chai, or you have a better service. In the US, service is part of the experience of buying a product. So if I buy a TV, I know somewhere, somehow, it might fail. Where do I get support? Okay? Support is part of it. Service is part of it. Now, if I go to Amazon, I buy something in Amazon, and it doesn't fit, it doesn't work, I'll say, I return it. Easy. Return it, done. Customer service, you can't do that. If you buy something here from the store, if you want, you just bought it earlier and then you try it on, it doesn't look good on you. Or a gift for your wife, she doesn't like it, and you have to return it. Can you return it easily? No, right? But why? Not. So those are the things that you have to look at. How can you change it? How can you create? If you do it, then it makes it different. You're providing a different experience. Okay, any thoughts here? Ideas? Want to share?
This projection is based on which study?
There's a really long list. So don't worry, at the end, there's a really long list of things that you can read.
What is the recent study?
Yeah. This one is recent, 2000. That's why if you look at 220 is actual, 229.
That's okay. Study conducted based on which years of data?
Yeah, recent data. Even the 1.3 billion, and I can tell you the 900 billion, part of the companies that have not realized their goals for digital transformation is GE, Ford, Procter & Gamble. These are not small guys, right? These are really large and smart guys. And yet, it still failed. So what's wrong? And that's what we have to look at when we go through what are the reasons why BP projects fail. We can see. Though, if you really want to go and dig deep, if you are serious on this one, there's so much art. The references that I have is like 2 pages, 2 columns. So you can go back there. Okay? And anything else? Sleepy now? This is the worst part of doing an afternoon session, right? You have good food. That's why I asked for coffee. You have good food. And then they go, I have to listen to this guy for like how much longer? And it's supposed to be nap time. That's why the Spanish are really smart. They have siesta. So Spanish have a nap time period in their office, but traditionally they stop around 2 or 3 and then they start office again at 5. People sleep during the 2 to 5.
Even this was also India.
I should go here.
If you go to the floor, you have digital nap right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather is the same thing. And it's during summertime and after having lunch around 2 p.m. he said, no, don't bother me, I'm going to take a nap. Those are nicer experiences. We don't have that now. Maybe we should go back to transformational nap time experiences. Okay. Right now we spend so much on the phone. So we don't even speak. Actually, not so good. All right. So I'll make you work again. Now you understand what digital transformation is. What it is, right? Simple. Start with the end in mind. You create business value for your company and for your customers, and then design continually transforming experiences for your customers, and then leverage technology and be an agile organization. Now the question for you is that why would you do digital transformation? Okay? So I'll give you another like 5 minutes to work on it. And I need to get my coffee. All right?
Yes, the same sheet on the
Same sheet. You can do it. Yeah. So we're doing conservation.
more efficiency, more profit.
This is what I like about India. I get bias in the US.
Making an IT guy answer.
I just go there and have
Make them unlearn and then
make your shirt.
still have your mindless. So typically like
Revenue.
That's a customer. What might do we want to offer them better experience?
Why should
That's the same part actually.
for us business? So I'm using a tool for
Efficiency.
yeah, that's it, right?
Efficiency.
Efficiency in every aspect of your work.
even use it. Because digital, there are possibilities.
But it has to enable verification.
I don't have.
Basically, that's the internal new product, the same faster and better.
First,
Something like that. Why don't you use things?
these guys are always ready. You're like Boy Scouts.
Improve efficiency, performance, profit for both customer and organization. We build a more sustainable relationship and better understanding needs of customers. For that moves business forward. Well, what is something? What something?
It looks like it's talking to his private.
So we are closer to your thinking. Understanding.
Who wants to go next? You get free water. Go next.
Customer connect. You want to talk? Nobody any, so you are.
So why daily for customers, it's better customer experience or product experience and build customer retention. So you could retain your customer rather than, it's better to retain a customer rather than getting a new customer. So,
I agree.
so and as a business, it's increased revenue and profitability, faster and better information flow, and with which you could take timely and correct decisions, and scalability, and also like with vendor ecosystem, it's more sustainable with the
Thank you. There's no learn more from you. The more I talk to guys, the more I learn.
Why DD?
because of customer experience, already our friends has told that. Another reason is sustainability in the market. Digital transformation is for sustainability in the market, standing out from the market, standing out from the competition, do different things. Cost effective, data security, for data security, and last point is transformation for growth, Thanks.
No drawing this time? You already created an experience for us to expect a drawing, and now you don't have a drawing?
No, after this, that's the digital transformation.
We improve efficiency. We can enable new services and ideas by going digital transformation. We can improve and do on-time decision making. We can centralize the whole global operations. We can reduce cost. It helps in revenue generation and improvement. It helps in some of the eco-friendly solutions. Some of the upcoming technologies are also like enabled using digital transformation. Thank you.
Which we cannot do human, like a human which we cannot do it, that kind of situation, digital transformation really helpful us. Already said Netflix we cannot do it, it's making by digital transaction or digital transformation.
Yeah.
And now the healthcare industry, like cardiac attack or cardiac prediction and many things are all which cannot immediately bring by doctors or hospitals immediately on time. Now US and all what happened, they used to create cognitive cities because the reason behind that, they can sit somewhere and control whole city through data to manage the people and get the data management through the control the city. This is what other countries are following and trying to implement for digital things and all. So same thing we can implement for our company like Industry 4.0 or manufacturing companies. We can without asking anyone, like you can look and see whatever you want. If I say Google, there are Google News are there. So Google News, do you think every time Google people are putting input? No, there are ML algorithms. There are many algorithms automatically taking the data and pulling the data and displaying the people. So this is what digital transformation really needed. First, healthcare is very important.
Yep.
Because as a survey, what they are telling, after 2030 or 2050, the human life will be increased. The age will be increased, not to be less. This is what the technology is going to help us.
We don't have enough food to feed everyone.
That is there actually, but meanwhile, and the prediction system help for people, and to be consciously helping people. Even this technology can help agriculture, like Israel, like countries. If you go on that, see through that this technology, what happened there,
Yep.
something they are doing out there. Thank you very much.
Like efficiency in every aspect of business process. Like we reduce the manpower and we make things very easy to access.
PM Modi will be mad at you. A lot of people have no jobs.
Yeah, that is digital India. So need for business agility. So it is like process automation and executing many manual process very easily. Like HRMS is one of as Sir said, like he gave an example for leave application or bulk so these kind of activities. So resource utilization. A resource can focus on his job role rather than doing other things. So he can focus more on his skills. And profitability is one of the points. And getting more out of no wise.
We are getting more out of no wise is more important.
Yeah. So make informed decisions is one of his points. So if we can elaborate what it is.
So for example, like when we transform anything digitally, okay, we get access to information very easily. which actually, if you dig down now, for example, if a CEO is sitting down and wants to look up, okay, how is this guy, certain department within a period of time? He doesn't have to go through sheets, spreadsheets, everything. On a click of a button, you can find out the reports and you say, okay, I don't have to invest here, let me invest somewhere else. So these are just an example. Now, even if you look for Google nowadays has very much information on traffic, where you have more traffic, so you can divert it somewhere else. So the experience is getting better. So this is just one of the examples. So you take informed decisions because of digital transformation.
Cool.
Last point is not good, but reduce the in-house IT dependency.
That's actually good. Because technology just becomes normal. We take it for granted now. It used to be, we do a lot, we have to learn a lot. Now, I'm just not my mic. Sorry. I don't want to be yelling all the time. So I'm going to transform from the left to the right. And it's just too hot. Anyway. So really good points. And these are things that you have to look out for. And again, I like to simplify things a little bit more so that people can relate to it. But then when you go back, you can expand it yourself. Right? So in terms of digital transformation, and this is one of from Forrester, he's a researcher in Forrester. And it's how you can reimagine how you do your business. Different business models, okay? But technology is at its core. That's why it's digital transformation. And others, you can do other transformation. You can have business transformation in how you manage your stuff. But here you really leveraging technology, how you can reimagine your business, okay? Some businesses don't transform by choice. Because, as we saw, it's expensive and it's risky, right? 70% are not meeting their goals. So that's a lot of wasted space there. But they have to go through transformation when they have failed to evolve. Sometimes it's too late, okay? They have seen their competitors or they have seen the market that are their customers. I won't even look at competitors. I look at like customers and they are not, once you see that your revenue is not growing, it starts to decline, unless you do a transformation, it's going to go and keep on declining because you're offering the same thing to your customers. Right? Sometimes it's good. If you're offering food and rice and all the stuff, that's okay. Right? But if you're offering something else that can be easily replaced, or an experience that can easily be replaced, then you would be gone. So you have to evolve. Now there are only 3. And make it easy, okay? So that when you go back, you can remember only 3 things that they can do on building blocks on digital transformation. One is specifically on customer experience. And when we define it, we talk about customer experience, right? If you want to increase your revenue, focus on customer experience. Because they're the ones buying from you, right? If you have a totally different experience, if you have a wow, I call it a wow experience. If you have a wow experience for your customers, then they buy from you. Now, even if it's not a wow experience, if it's just totally different from somebody else's, then you can still make money of it. But then, again, when you're just doing similar things that you do with other guys, that's okay if you're the only one selling chai in that area. And then when somebody sees that, oh, he's making money, there's a lot of people going there, somebody comes in. Then puts up his own stall. So you have to be very careful. It's the customer experience and you have to transform immediately. If you can do that. But you need agile people to be able to do that. Okay? So if you want to increase your revenue, look at the experience that you have that you're offering your customers now. I know it's hard from a consulting company. If you don't have a product, we're doing services. How do we do that? Right? Is it quality? Is it on conversations? Is it more on how I manage the projects, how I interact with my customers, how I approach them? Never look at price. Sometimes we just look at, oh, it should be, if it's done in India and done in Asia, it should be cheaper, right? But if you're offering something that even you cannot see it in the US, then they will pay more because they don't have it even where they are. So that's the way you can differentiate. If you have something that is unique and that has a unique experience, then you can actually charge more as long as you can deliver. Okay, this is normally what we will do. Most of our projects and most of the things that we do is on here because saving cost is easy to do. Customer experience is so hard. Right? That's why we end up with doing this. But the problem with doing just reducing operating costs is that you keep on reducing the cost, you keep on reducing the cost, you don't transform the customer experience. You might have very, very efficient process, but you don't have customers anymore. Okay? So you have to strike a balance. Don't forget your customer. That's why in a typical organization, you have an acquisition. So even if you're doing, when you're acquiring customers, your profitability is actually really, really low. Can you agree? Right? Because you spend on advertising and all that. And then once you're delivering, you try to optimize your cost. So maybe you can save here, you can save here. So first, but you have to have customers first. Then you do that. And then you go through another cycle. You go on acquisition again. But sometimes you just do all saving and saving. You don't even do the customer experience anymore. Now, typically, my thinking always, if you're doing something, it's either you are increasing revenue or you are reducing cost. If you're not doing any of those things, it's not worth doing. Right? Sometimes we do have projects with our clients that I ask them, so what's the business goal? What's the goal? What's the objective here? What's the measure of success? How will we know we're successful? And so when we launch it, okay, that's a milestone. When we launch something, that's a milestone, right? Your metric is that how many used it? How much revenue did you derive from it? Or how much did you save from it? Sometimes you lose sight. Remember, that's why we go back. 50% of CEOs that have no business metrics under digital transformation because they just look at it. It's a thing to do. No metrics. And that's why it's very important. But now, actually, there's a third one. Business model is basically just for survival. If you just do those two things, you don't actually need to do full digital transformation, right? But sometimes survival is the last one for you. So sustainability and survival. Okay, simple. Customer experience, operational processes, and business model. If I were you, I'd spend on the top and the bottom more. But that's why you have the IT spending wherein 72% is on the middle. And then only 28% is on the customer side. Okay? Questions here? So, but what are those three? What can I do within each bucket? So, oh, by the way, this is coming from MIT Sloan again.
Sorry, can I? This is true for any technology. Why digital transformation?
Sometimes you forget about it. Actually, that's the thing.
Any technology which has come for the last 2 decades or 3 decades, whenever somebody presents, they say that, okay, this is for driving growth and reducing operational cost and to survive in the market.
That's exactly what we're saying. What is the definition here? Because basically, digital transformation is business transformation, but you have to leverage technology. How fast can you do customer experience transformation?
This is how, in 2000, when ERP as a concept came, perfectly this is the definition it was given.
Same thing. Yeah.
We are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So is the same logic continuous for every new technology? That is what my question is.
Yes.
Yes. Even with the Six Sigma methodologies, so the definition going to be the same. So
that's why I talk about toothpaste, right?
There's not much difference between one thing to the other. Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
Why do we adopt a new technology? The reason seems to be constant. Only technology is changing.
Yes. It's always, but sometimes we do forget why we're adopting technology. Sometimes we adopt technology for technology's sake. And that's why you have to go back to basics.
Not in business, generally.
Well,
maybe an IT company will do why they embrace the technology for the sake of a technology.
Yep.
But then a business will not embrace a technology for the sake of technology.
Yes.
They will always say they want to improve their own customers' experience, increase growth, reduce cost, and survive in the market because fittest survives.
Yeah.
So this has been the mantra for ages.
Correct.
Is it that this is also true for me?
Yeah, that's what I
That's what.
That's why we're not reinventing. That's why I'm saying we're not reinventing anything. It's basically we're repackaging everything else.
Okay.
That's what people are saying. See, if you want to sell more, what do? You make a monkey look like a princess. I'm not saying this is a monkey, but what we're saying is that we go back to basic. It's basically the same thing. What happens is that because you have technology, how fast can you? The components here is how fast can you do these things? How fast? How good can you do these things? With technology, you can do it faster. If you're talking about ERPs before, ERPs were monolithic, wherein an ERP, I deployed an ERP. ERP would have like 100 features. You buy it, for the 100 features that it promises, you only use 3 or 4. Right? How much did you pay for it? For the 100 features.
3080.
Right? So that's the problem. And you spend so much doing the digital transformation, as you were saying, I want to deploy ERP, and sometimes you want to tailor fit an ERP to the way you do business, and then you fail. Again, because you think that you are unique. When in fact, those are best practices that have been adopted by ERP companies. If you look at guys who are buying SAP, Dynamics 365, Salesforce, they're not fully utilizing most of it because you only take what is relevant for you, but you're paying for the whole thing.
That's the case for iPhone also.
Yeah.
It's a parental role, 20-80 concept. 20% of the features we use 80 times.
Yeah.
20% of the time.
It's the promise.
80% of the times we use hardly 20% of the time.
It's the promise. It's the experience that I promise for you. I promise you the moon, the stars. If you get halfway to the clouds, you're right? That's always been when you sell something that you promise everything, but you only use this one. Right? You think when they sell toothpaste and make your teeth white, you use it, you're gonna be hanging out with celebrities? No, but it's that packaging, it's branding. If you look at it, it's all branding and how you do that. How you do the experience, and if we go through the case studies, it's actually the experiences that they were able to build the brands on and just sustaining for some. It's common business, right? For you, sir, it's easy because you're a businessman, right? But we're also technology guys. We started with technology with no idea on business. That's actually what's lacking from a lot of technology guys. And if you have CIOs that are driving your digital transformation story, and that will fail because CIOs are not trained to be businessmen. They are trained to be technologists, right? CTO, especially CTO, like me, right? If you're not exposed to managing a business, it's so hard for you to focus on these things. You would be saying, oh, we have to buy this technology, because my other CTO, other CTOs are buying this. I have the new firewall, the new router, a new server. Now everyone's going to the cloud. I have to go to the cloud. So we have that follow someone else mentality. But if you're really looking at what's the business value that you're generating, I wouldn't buy anything new. I would buy something that is tailor-fitted for my customers. What's needed for my business. And sometimes when I say common sense, it's not so common. And that's why it gets lost out. That's a very, very good point. There's nothing new. It's just basically how fast can you do it? How good can you do it? And that's why you lose out because
I have a point to make. Some of the things that which happen as the first iteration, they're not going to reduce costs. In fact, you might have transformationally even a prohibitive amount of cost, but it will enable you to do what you deliver as a customer product as a service in a totally radical way, which enables you to scale. For example, I am a choice shop fellow. The kitchen and the recipes and the process that I follow to serve 10 people might not scale for me to become a catering service. I have to reinvest in the recipes and the tools and the processes and the delivery structure, everything. I cannot do with the existing thing. The business transformation cannot happen unless I invest in those tools and the processes and bring it all together. And for example, Oracle ERP. When ERP was invented first, the big guys had to pay an enormous amount of money. But the visionaries that the CIOs and the corporate heads who were there, they said this will help me bring down my decision making process. It will help me bring down the distances between the decision makers across different aspects of the business. That is what ERP enables. Because what they do in an ERP system is what you can do by your traditional pen and paper method too. So that is what it is. And then the other thing is,
It's a process automation, but I think
That's not what,
yeah.
So
the point
what-
is very valid now. Here, technology automation.
yeah, so that's what I'm
Machine
saying.
learning
That is
and
second
IoT kind of
point.
thing.
One of my founders used to say, technology company partners, eventually a complex system becomes a small part in a much larger puzzle. Unless we can visualize it, it enables this spiral. I make very complex product, but this product becomes a small piece, it turns a complex piece, including internally within the
and that's what I experience. If you look at your phone now, that's more powerful than the space shuttle that was launched and went to the moon. So that's why I say, the wow before becomes normal now. And if you don't continue to improve, so having an ERP is basic now. It used to be, that's a competitive advantage.
Correct.
Now if you don't have an ERP, then good luck.
That's why this third point comes. Survival.
The survival. So if you look at it, it's really, and the problem we had before was that we had really this big systems. You have to invest millions of dollars because before you can even know what is there. But digital transformation is being agile, where you start with minimum viable products. You start small, smaller investments, and the cloud really enables that. SaaS is a platform. If I have to install Salesforce in my own organization, if I have to do it locally, I would spend like $500,000 if I want to start, and then 5 people. Now I just pay like $50 or $100 for the 5 people. I can try it out. It doesn't work for us. Done. So those are the things that you can do now that you cannot do before. And that's what digital transformation provides you. How fast can you think? How fast can you try things out? How fast can you move so that you figure out what's best for your customer? That's a key. Those are the key things that we have to understand. Okay, so 9 elements of digital transformation. So we have those 3 big buckets: customer experience, operational process, business model. In customer experience, you have to start with customer understanding. Now, you want to spend a lot of research. You go out, you interview people, and it's a very, very sampling method. Right? It was done sampling and research. We spent almost $500,000 for one of the TFC project for Filipinos. Figure out what do they need, what do they want, what's the psyche, so that I can create the product. See, we spent so much on research. We went traveled to key cities. We interviewed 200 people. You have to even incentivize them because they're working. You have to get them out, and they have to tell you not what they want, how do they live, what are their aspirations, what are their goals. Okay. Once you understand their psyche, then you can develop products, or you can tailor fit your marketing based on what they want. But that's too expensive, right? You can actually just do analytics-based segmentation. So again, I go back to my example. I had an online streaming service similar to Netflix way before Netflix had it. I had 100 million